Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I have got game number 1 of a best of 3. I should actually add that to the overlays. There we go, it's all done. And yeah, game number 3 should be really good. I'm massively excited about it because yeah, it's going to be a bit of Terran versus Zerg. It's on Star Station, it's a relatively recent game and it's between two cool players. So let's go ahead and introduce them. Down in the bottom right position spawning as the blue Terran player, it is Happy. And his opponent, up in the top left, the red Zerg, none other than Nerchio. So, what can we be expecting from these two on Star Station? Well, Star Station has a relatively easy to take natural base. That's one thing that we can say. There's a relatively small ramp, or it's not even a ramp, it's a relatively small entrance into your natural. But then you arch around and you start to look at this, your third base. And look at how wide and open it is, so many attack paths, it can be very awkward. It's worse for Terran than it is for Zerg, and definitely the hardest for Protoss because their force fields aren't too effective. But being a ZVT shouldn't be too much of a massive problem. It'll just be interesting to see how Happy opens, because the one thing that is probably one of the biggest things, and now this gas is coming down, is a Reaper opening. And that is because basically 2/3 of your main base is a cliff. So Reapers can easily get in, easily get out, can deal a lot of damage very quickly and very efficiently, and that means that actually they're a very effective opening, and Reaper expands even just in the current meta game on any map very much in favour. They work very nicely against Zerg, and so therefore on a map that's suited to it, it's even stronger. For the moment, Nerchio, he's getting down that hatch first, which is a good move because it's against a Terran player, and ZVT pretty much staple of the builds is that you go for a 15 hatch and then a later spawning pool. Usually about a 16 pool comes down, and that is exactly what we're going to be seeing here out of Nerchio. So the first Reaper should be getting started up. There we go, all looking good there. Of course, while we're waiting for this just to play out, let me remind you all that if you do enjoy the cast, make sure that you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, because I get new games up to this channel every day of the week, and missing it would be terrible for you. It would actually be bad for your health, and you may get withdrawal symptoms. I'm just saying, like, that should be a warning on YouTube, but I can't offer that. I wish I could. Now, anyway, drone just checking around, making sure there's no bunker or anything down there, because we all know that if a bunker comes down, it's gonna make you very sad. So Nerchio just keeping a good little eye out, saying, okay, well, I'm not getting rushed or anything like that. Probably going to be Reapers, but there could have been a bunker down and still Reapers, and that's actually a really frustrating thing to deal with because it just takes forever to try and stop that. There's no way to really take out the Reapers in that situation unless you get some kind of miracle expand. Behind this, of course, we do see that Happy is getting down a second Reaper. So what this means is the first one has to do more than just a little bit of damage. If it did manage to get a drone, that would have been amazing. There are a couple more coming down here. The first Zerglings are now only just in production. Extractors being made, Spore Crawlers being made. Toolings are going to start trying to chase this down. And already we see Happy being quite effective with just this single Reaper. If any more come out, that'd be even better. We can see that another Spore Crawler having to be made there. This is already costing some money to Nerchio, but it's not a huge amount. It's just a little bit frustrating. The second Reaper, though, will be coming in soon, but the first one does get taken out. Great control there by the Acer player, and that means that straight away only one Reaper now remains, and Nerchio is actually in a much better spot than he was previously. This one drone having to run away, maybe forced to become an extractor, but is unable to do so. One drone now killed, and if we take a look at the resources lost, we can see that Happy losing 2 more minerals or 2 more resources than that of his opponent. So only a small amount, but still it's something to take as a win. Behind this, Happy grabbing up 2 command centers. That's his natural and his third straight away. Very early on in this game, and to be honest, I like that kind of player style where you go for that Reaper expand into the quick third CC. Yes, there's Hellions coming out behind this, but the follow-up push not actually going to be as potent as Happy would like, because he's lost one of those Reapers. 2 Reapers and 4 Hellions is a very effective timing push. It can deal a lot of damage and deal with Queens very nicely, etc. 1 Reaper and Hellions, just a little bit less scary, and the reason for that isn't actually in the push itself, but this current aggression that's going on. 1 Reaper can be shut down by Queens very easily, can't deal much damage. 2, well, then you've got some good micro potential, pulling the damage one back, and you can really hurt a Queen quite significantly, ready for when you want to start dealing some more damage. So we can see here that obviously a couple of Lings have managed to make it into the main. This is very frustrating for Happy. He's going to take some damage, he loses 1 SCV already, but more importantly, Nerchio has scouted that third CC's there. The mule does get taken down, but it only had about 1 more collection in it before it would have timed out anyway, so that's not a huge loss. 2 Hellions and the Reaper, of course, sitting outside the natural base. We've got the single Spine Crawler coming down. No Evolution Chamber wall off yet, which is something that you see a lot of Zerg players do throughout the game. But, yeah, I'd say for the moment, yes, there's some Hellions poking around, but it's nothing that's traumatic. And the big thing is the Nerchio knows that that third CC is there, and that's triggered the Rotoran to come down, and he may actually go for a pretty large shove. We've got to wait and see what he's doing. For the moment, Happy has managed to sneak his way in. He's going to be able to kill quite a few drones here. The Hellions alone dealing some nice damage. The Queens are trying to pick apart some of these units, but, well, in all honesty, a couple of drones are now starting to get killed. 7 workers already down, more and counting. This is doing quite a lot here. For Happy, will lose nearly everything. Only 1 Hellion getting away to tell the story, but 10 workers have now been killed. And that means the Nerchio's only got a 5 worker lead, but now out come the Roaches. And that is a good number of Roaches on the field. 10 of them, 12 are about to be here, and this has got to result in some counter-aggression. The one thing the Nerchio cannot afford to now do is sit back and defend. 12 Roaches is a big commitment. It's a lot of resources, a lot of lava. And if he doesn't come and poke back, well, actually, he's going to get in some problems, because while there may be a 6 worker lead, there's a 3 mule lead for Happy, and that means his income is slightly ahead of that of Nerchio's, and that really isn't what you're going to want to be seeing. The Roaches have been seen coming forward. We can see that in terms of defense, there's really not too much, though. There's 1 Marine and 3 Hellions on the field. The first Marauder desperately trying to come out. This timing could be absolutely beautiful. SCV's getting pulled to repair up this bunker, but they can just start getting worked down. Only 1 Marine in there, chipping away at Roaches. Not going to be able to do too much. The bunker now getting focused. More SCVs being forcible. This is the kind of counter-aggression that Nerchio so desperately needs. And yeah, all in one very nice shot. We can see that the bunker will now go down, and Nerchio is pushing forward. The second bunker forced to cancel. The SCV constructing was taken out at the last possible second. The supply depot and the main is now exposed, so we can see the Nerchio pushing on in. He's not focusing down the tech lab. I think he could have stopped Stim if he wanted to, but instead going for the definite damage of killing a couple of SCVs. The Marauders are going to deal a lot of damage. The tank there is going to really help against these Roaches. The tech lab not getting focused in the slightest. It could have stopped Stim, and that would have been disastrous, but so many SCVs getting killed. And I think with this many workers down, is there any way that Happy can come back from it? I just really don't think there can be. Just look, even with the mule cooldown, it's 8 workers up against 52. There's no way. Can there really be that Happy comes back from this situation? Well, we'll have to wait and see. We can see that was an incredibly cost-effective push, though, from Nerchio, and he's definitely got himself a huge lead in this game. Got over double the income for the time being, and a small push could try and come out. Happy does have the 3 mules, so that does help him stay somewhat in this game, but look at the follow-up. Spire coming down, the double evolution chamber, upgrades are going to start kicking in. We've got the 3rd base secured. I'd say Nerchio is in a very comfortable spot at the moment. The money just isn't there at the moment for Happy. He's having to switch around the factory and, of course, the barracks because he's not going mech. He just got that tank out as kind of an emergency situation. Nerchio expanding, taking his 4th base. But what has Happy got planned? Because he must be fairly grumpy about this. He's about to get off a couple of overlords, which is a little bit frustrating. But Nerchio's got more than enough resupply. He's grabbing out 8 more Roaches now, plus a good number of drones. His gas is alright. He can probably afford about, well, he can afford a couple of Mutalisks now that Spire's done, but only once he banks up a bit more minerals. He's spending a lot of his money on these Roaches, maybe expecting a counter-attack, and as we can see, just a small group of infantry on their way forward. The Hellion leading the charge, just making sure that he spots any units that could be out there. But look at this. Roach speed, Zergling speed, and the 1-1 melee upgrades coming down here for Nerchio. That's going to mean that he's got a very effective force. These Roaches could probably engage this army head-on, in all honesty, but just waiting for these 9 Mutalisks to pop out. Happy's going to be trying to come back. He's already back up to 28 workers, in fairness to him. So if we take a look at the income, Nerchio is still ahead, but not by quite the margin that he was earlier in the game. But Nerchio, he's not even massively pumping drones at the moment. He's trying to get out a couple more queens. A scan is going to be utilized here. The Roaches trying to come forward, but the medevacs are going to boost those units away. This really is Happy trying to be as cost effective as he could ever possibly hope to be, because that's going to allow him to really try and fight his way back into this game. But he's got to be just so cost effective. The boost away with these medevacs has got to be careful, because there's Mutalisks here, and that means that once boost wears out, the Mutalisks can cut all of this down, and one of the medevacs gets taken out. The second one is going to go down, and there's the GG. Aces Nerchio will be victorious in this first game. So, if you enjoyed, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll be back with game number 2 in just a second.